Hello, Reds fans. Welcome to the YNWA Transfer News Channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your daily latest news.
Our first news is this. Luis Diaz now assures European heavyweight over summer move. Luis Diaz finds himself in an increasingly precarious position at Anfield, with the Colombian winger facing an uncertain future despite his best statistical season in a Liverpool shirt to date. The 28-year-old, who scored 17 goals and provided 8 assists across all competitions last season, has entered the final 2 years of his contract with no signs of renewal talks from the club's hierarchy. The situation has been further complicated by Liverpool's apparent stance on Diaz's future. Despite his big role in Liverpool's Premier League title triumph, the club has shown no intention of extending his contract beyond 2027. This has left Diaz in a strange position where he is relatively lowly paid for a player of his caliber at around £140,000 per week. Barcelona's interest in Diaz has been well documented, with the Catalan giants making multiple approaches throughout the summer. The club's sporting director Deco has been particularly keen on bringing the Colombian to Camp Nou, especially after missing out on Athletic Bilbao's Nico Williams. The speculation intensified significantly when Diaz began following FC Barcelona's official Instagram account in June. This social media gesture didn't go unnoticed by fans, as Barcelona became the only club he didn't play for on his following list on the social media app. However, now the transfer saga has taken a dramatic turn with Bayern Munich emerging as serious contenders for Diaz's signature. According to Christian Falk's exclusive reporting, Bayern Munich have now made Diaz their number one target, after failed attempts to secure Nico Williams and Bradley Barcola. Furthermore, the Colombian has reportedly given assurances to the Bavarian giants, with the Bundesliga insider reporting. Luis Diaz has now assured Bayern Munich that he wants to move to the German top flight this summer. We understand here at CF Bayern Insider that Diaz is now Bayern's number one target for the wing position. However, this is not a transfer that appears to be plain sailing for Vincent Kompany's men, Falk explains. Inevitably, Barcelona are also showing interest in the Colombian international, having also missed out on Williams due to financial difficulties. As such, the former FC Porto man is also on Barca's list as an alternative option. Bayern Munich appear to be in a stronger financial position than Barcelona to meet Liverpool's asking price. The German champions had been willing to pay Nico Williams' original release clause of €90 million, suggesting they have the financial firepower to compete for Diaz. In contrast, Barcelona's financial constraints have been well documented, with the club struggling to guarantee player registrations. Liverpool's summer signing ready for Premier League season. Frimpong looks ready as Liverpool begin the long walk back. Liverpool are stirring again. The break has been long but not without grief. Almost 6 weeks have passed since the season ended, and in that time, there has been both movement in the transfer market and an aching stillness following tragedy. Now, with preseason training set to begin, the club finds itself poised between preparation and mourning. The loss of Diogo Jota has cast a shadow across Liverpool and beyond. Football, for all its power to distract, cannot always outrun the weight of real life. Players' minds will be elsewhere for the next few weeks while they deal with the grief of losing their friend. It's a sobering thought and a stark reminder that footballers are human beings first. Support at the heart of Liverpool. This is where Liverpool's identity counts for more than slogans and social media posts. On Merseyside, particularly on the red half, togetherness has always mattered. We are all a big family. May sound like a cliché to some, but in moments like these, it becomes a truth that carries real strength. The return to training on Tuesday will be the start of something new, but not just in terms of tactics and fitness. It will be a time for healing. The group dynamic will change, shaped by loss and resilience. The absence of Hoda will be felt deeply, but slowly, the dressing room will begin to breathe again. Frimpong working to hit ground running. Amidst all this, Jeremy Frimpong has been spotted working on his conditioning, preparing himself for the challenge that awaits. His commitment to personal preparation speaks volumes. Frimpong has been pictured working hard on his fitness, completing a variety of training drills to get up to speed, For a player still betting into the club's culture, that effort matters. Adaptation to Premier League football is no small task, especially under a coach like Arne Slot who demands energy, structure, and intensity. Frimpong's proactive approach to the summer lays a good foundation. Getting a head start is going to be key for any of the new recruits if they want to bed themselves into the team from the off. These weeks before the season starts are crucial. Not just for match sharpness, but for forging bonds. The pitch is only part of the job. Being able to trust your teammates, to connect off the field, is where the true cohesion begins. Pre-season games will be integral bonding experiences for the group, so that everyone feels comfortable around each other, as they will be working in close proximity all the time. Return framed by grief and determination. There is, naturally, an air of cautious optimism. Not one of celebration but of steady rebuilding. It can be easy to get overexcited, so soon after Hodas' passing, this optimistic update is valued. Slot's tenure is beginning, the players are returning, and Liverpool, as ever, are looking forward. Video games and controllers left at Diogo Hodas' memorial for poignant reason. People have paid tribute to one of Diogo Hodas' favorite hobbies at Anfield following the death of the Liverpool forward and his brother Andre Silva last week. Hoda, 28, was traveling with Andre in the Zamora region of Sanabria, Spain, when their car was involved in a crash on Thursday, July 3. The brothers died following the incident. The brothers were laid to rest on Saturday, July 5 at Matriz de Gondomar Church in their hometown, just 7 kilometers east of Porto. Members of the public lined the streets outside the church to pay their respects. Alongside family members and loved ones, Liverpool FC and international players, as well as members of the football community from around the globe, attended the service. This weekend, residents in the Portuguese town where Hoda and Andre grew up have also continued to pay tribute. Several Xbox and PlayStation controllers and a copy of the FIFA 21 video game are among the many items that have been left at the memorial to Hoda at Anfield. One fan on X said, "I spotted someone that had left an Xbox pad in memory of Hoda at the memorial, among all of the flowers and scarves. Hats off to whoever is responsible." These items refers to one of Hoda's love of the annual football video games from EA Sports. Now known as EAFC, the series was previously called FIFA. Hoda won a FIFA tournament, which featured a player from every Premier League team, during the COVID lockdown. Hoda, who was playing for Wolves at the time, beat Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold in the final. Hoda once ranked as the #1 player in the world in a FIFA Ultimate Team Champions Weekend League in the FIFA 21 game after he won all 30 games over a single weekend in February 2021. In November 2021, he had to leave an online FIFA tournament early because it clashed with Liverpool's Premier League game against Southampton. Hoda scored twice in the 4-0 win at Anfield and celebrated one of the goals by sitting down and pressing buttons on a fake controller. Hoda did this celebration again after scoring a memorable last-minute winner against Tottenham Hotspur in April 2023. When the Echo spoke to fans the day after his death at Anfield, the winner and celebration was brought up by several fans. James Partridge, 39, who lives in Mossley Hill, said, "The winner against Tottenham in the 4-3 under Klopp a couple of years ago. It looked like they had stolen a draw. Richarlison was celebrating. Then we went straight up the other end and scored with Hoda. He did his PlayStation celebration. He popped up with so many important goals, but that's one that comes to the forefront of my mind." This celebration has been repeated by several stars in the last few days as the global football community comes to terms with the death of Hoda and Andre. PSG forward Ousmane Dembele and Hoda's former teammate Diogo Goncalves, who plays for Real Salt Lake, have repeated the celebration at the Club World Cup. Rinsola Babajide, who used to play for Liverpool Women, also did the celebration after scoring for Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations yesterday. After his death, EA Sports FC paid its own tribute to Hoda via social media. It said, "We are heartbroken by the news of Diogo Hoda's passing. Diogo was not only an exceptional footballer, but also a true friend and talented member of the FC family whose abilities were renowned amongst the community. Our thoughts are with his family, his teammates, and all who knew him. Rest in peace, Diogo. Hoda had his own esports team too, called Luna Esports. In an interview with the Gamer magazine a few years ago, Hoda said football video games help pass the time on away trips. He said, "Every time we travel for away matches, I take the PlayStation with me. It makes time go smoothly, and keeps me entertained. I find it helpful, to be honest, because if I'm just lying on the bed or something, I'm thinking about the game and I don't like to think too much." Hoda also claimed the games had helped his ability on the pitch. He previously told ESPN Brazil, "It might be a little strange, obviously, but I genuinely believe so, that it helps, in terms of understanding what the game is, what changes we can make. I think that's important. When we see that something is not working and we manage to change it, in tactical terms, it ends up being important in terms of reading the game in real life." As tributes continue to pour in for Hoda, a book of condolences remains open at Anfield. Supporters and members of the public can sign the physical book in the Anfield Road stand reception area today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Liverpool has also made an online version available for fans across the globe. The team will return to preseason training tomorrow. Fabrizio Romano transfer news, Martinelli Saudi shock, Hodgson Man United exit, Gyökeres latest. Arsenal pushing for Gyökeres agreement. Fabrizio Romano has revealed that Sporting and Arsenal are yet to come to an agreement over a transfer fee for Victor Gyökeres, but negotiations are continuing between both clubs, with personal terms already having been struck. There was new contact last night between Arsenal and Sporting to try accelerate and close the deal, Romano said. Sporting and their president are still not accepting the final details of the proposal made by Arsenal. It doesn't mean that it's over, but it's part of the negotiation. Sporting are insisting on €70 million fixed fee, while Arsenal were starting at €65 million. So that's the position of the club, and the situation is getting tense with the player because Gyökeres only wants to go to Arsenal. I can guarantee to you that in the recent hours Gyökeres told the Sporting and their president that he wants to go to Arsenal. He will not show up for training. He will not play for Sporting anymore. So, he is going very strong. Gyökeres is doing also something else to go to Arsenal and to fulfill his dream of going to the Emirates next season. This move is to give up €2 million from his salary package to facilitate the negotiation between Arsenal and Sporting. So the negotiations will now continue. Martinelli's Saudi Pro League truth. Romano also confirmed that speculation linking Gabriel Martinelli with a move to Al Nassr from Arsenal was untrue despite reports claiming otherwise. He said, "Guys, I can tell you that there is nothing ongoing between Al Nassr and Martinelli. I know there are many stories, many reports, but I'm told that Al Nassr are not negotiating for Martinelli. Al Nassr are not in concrete talks for Martinelli. So at the moment I'm not aware of any concrete negotiation for the Brazilian winger to leave Arsenal and go to Al Nassr." One of the dream targets for Al Nassr this summer before they changed the management was also Luis Diaz at Liverpool. It's important to mention that at the moment I'm not aware of any official bid from Al Nassr. Why? Because they changed the management in the recent weeks after Cristiano Ronaldo extended his contract of the club, and so we will see what's going to happen there. Barcelona set to test Liverpool resolve for Diaz. Barcelona believe Luis Diaz wants to join the club, but they will face a fight from Liverpool to convince them to sell, according to Romano. Barcelona want to make a new approach to Liverpool in the upcoming days to try understand if they can open doors to the exit of Luis Diaz. Romano said, "If it's not going to be possible to get Luis Diaz, Barcelona are aware also of Marcus Rashford being still an option in the list, being very keen on the move, dreaming of Barcelona move. But Barca still want to try again for Luis Diaz. I expect Barcelona to make new contact, with Diaz's camp understood to be keen on the move, and also to make new contact with Liverpool to try understand if they can open doors to this move. There is still interest from Bayern, but Bayern and Barcelona, both clubs few weeks ago, received a no from Liverpool for Diaz. So let's see what Liverpool will decide. Man City January signing could leave this summer. Nico Gonzalez could leave Manchester City this summer for the right proposal despite only joining the club in January, according to Romano. There is a chance for Nico to leave Manchester City already this summer, Romano said. It was not probably the impact they both expected, so in case of good proposal there is a chance for Nico Gonzalez to leave Manchester City already. It is still not something guaranteed, so it's still not something 100% decided, also because it will depend on the proposals, but Nico Gonzalez's situation could be one to watch in the coming weeks. Also because he doesn't look to be so important in the rotations at Manchester City. We know there are few situations to play, including also Jack Grealish and more, and so we will be following also the one of Nico Gonzalez, with at the moment still the feeling that the player is not that crucial for the project. They invested important money in January, but then the situation looks like open again. Højlund wants Man United stay. Romano also provided an update on Rasmus Højlund's future at Manchester United after confirming that Jadon Sancho was still in talks to join Juventus. We said about Sancho Juventus interests, but still his salary is the point to resolve, Romano said. Also, Højlund is not pushing to leave Man United. He would love to stay at Man United, would love to continue at Man United, would love to do his best for Man United again in a new season. So Højlund would really hope and love to stay at Manchester United. The only possibility for him to go is if Manchester United decide to let him go, to sell him to make profit with him, and all these kind of things. If Man United decide for him to go, Højlund has to go. Otherwise, I'm hearing that the player would be keen on staying at Manchester United and would love to stay at Manchester United. So, let's see what's going to happen there. Why some passengers won't get refund on flights cancelled due to strikes. Flights between Liverpool John Lennon Airport and France were disrupted last week as French air traffic controllers went on strike. EasyJet flights to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport and Nice were cancelled, as dissatisfied workers walked out on June 3. French unions cited staff shortages and outdated equipment as reasons for the strike. The two-day industrial action resulted in mass disruption on routes between France and the UK, Greece, Spain, and Ireland. The airport advised passengers to contact their airlines, and an EasyJet spokesman said, as required by the French authorities, DGC, EasyJet proactively cancelled some flights in advance and customers were contacted directly with options to transfer to another flight for free or a refund. A spokesman further confirmed all EasyJet passengers whose flights were cancelled were entitled to a refund. But affected passengers hoping to claim the journey on their insurance could be disappointed, as most standard travel policies don't include cover for strikes or air traffic control issues unless an optional add-on has been purchased. Neeraj Mantora, director of insurance company Forum Insurance, said, standard travel insurance often excludes airspace disruption, so travelers shouldn't assume they're covered for strikes or air traffic control closures. To be protected, you need a policy with travel disruption or airspace closure as an optional add-on or as part of a higher-tier policy. This cover can reimburse you for missed travel and accommodation, enforced overnight stays abroad, or extra costs if you're stranded and no alternative transport is available for over 24 hours. But it usually only applies if the disruption was unexpected at the time of booking, and some policies exclude cover if the strike was already known or if you travel against official advice. Check your policy wording carefully. Look for any reference to travel disruption, airspace closure, or missed departure. Even if your plan doesn't include full disruption cover, there may be some limited benefits. And if you're already abroad, your travel provider or tour operator may be obliged to help with alternative arrangements. As last week's strikes were announced, an EasyJet spokesman said, the national strike action by French air traffic controllers is impacting all airlines operating to and from French airports, and using French airspace. As required by the French authorities, DGC, EasyJet proactively cancelled some flights in advance and customers were contacted directly with options to transfer to another flight for free or a refund. On behalf of our passengers, we are extremely unhappy with the strike action, particularly given the current performance of French ATC, which has been the leading cause of airspace delays in Europe this summer. Long-term solutions must be found for our customers and crew who suffer repeated disruption. Meanwhile, Airline company Ryanair confirmed 170 of its flights were cancelled as a result of the action, disrupting more than 30,000 passengers across Europe. Group Chief Executive Michael O'Leary said, "Once again, European families are held to ransom by French air traffic controllers going on strike. It is not acceptable that overflights over French airspace en route to their destination are being cancelled/delayed as a result of yet another French ATC strike. It makes no sense and is abundantly unfair on EU passengers and families going on holidays." Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.